Kevin, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, I had muted you guys. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah, we're talking all sorts of fun stuff. Yes.
That is awesome. So, without further ado,
Oh,
we are good to go. Sorry about that. You guys good?
We're amazing.
we're good.
All right, let's hit it. So, I'm going to hit record here. Make sure we get this recording done. Craig Reger, Andrea Morrison. First of all, how are you guys doing today? And thank you for joining us in Next Level Agents.
I'm amazing.
I'm really good.
Yeah.
We're
thank
excited
you.
to be here.
Thanks for the opportunity, Kevin.
Stoked. Well, that's awesome. I got to tell you, man, we've gotten so much good feedback when we announced that you guys are going to be doing this 90 and 90 webinar for our group. And I'm excited about it personally, too, because Craig, I shared this with you recently, but you made a big impact on our business when you came and taught this class that you did that was, at the time, it was a full day class. And it probably wasn't even enough time then in one full day for your 90 and 90 back in late 2014, made a huge impact on our business. And quite frankly, I'll never forget that. So I'm so excited anytime somebody like you is willing to, number one, share what you're doing in your business that wins, but also willing to come in and not just give, but continue to give back. So thank you very much, my friend.
Our pleasure, Kevin. Thanks for the opportunity.
No problem. And Andrea, I'll allow you guys, once you get started too, to introduce yourself. I know you as pretty much the person that gets anything done in Craig's world when it needs to be done. Everything from scheduling this webinar to live classes and whatnot, and the coaching and consulting, as well as the real estate sales. So I'm going to just turn it over to you guys, and Next Level Agents, you guys are in for a treat. So without further ado, Craig Reger and Andrea Morrison, take it away.
Yay. Thanks so much, Kevin. You guys, thank you so much for this opportunity. Excited to spend about the next 40 or so minutes with you, and then some Q&A at the end would be awesome. We're just going to take you through a journey we went on, as Kevin said, in early 2014. And at that point, we're having some struggles in our business, which really we're seeing with agents all over the country right now, again, which is dominating the listing market. We know there's different markets and sub-markets out there, but historically when I coach or meet or talk with agents, what I hear over and over and over is basically like, hey, the one thing that would make me feel great or happy is getting more listings.
Yeah, the one thing that would fix everything.
Yeah, and we're struggling. We're struggling with listings. We had a decent sized team, I think 5 or 6 people. And on average, we were getting, I don't know, like 4 listings a month. And that's pretty stressful because the reality is when you're getting 4 listings a month, it never works out to like, oh, it's week 1, it's Tuesday, I got my listing for the week. Oh, it's week 2, it's Wednesday, I got my listing for the week. It just doesn't happen that way.
No, it's like 00301.
Yeah, so it's like all this push, call these appointments, get the listings, get them on the market. And then most of us are still in markets where if we get listings, lo and behold, they sell or we get multiple offers, which is super exciting, but that's time consuming as well.
A lot of work. Yep.
And at the end of the day, just what this came down to is we weren't hitting our goals. We weren't hitting our goals. And this is an excellent time, Kevin. Thanks for the opportunity for a class like this, because we're halfway through the year. Most of us went into 2019 saying, here's what I'd like to accomplish. Here's how many families I want to help. Here's how many homes I want to sell. Here's how much money I want to make. Here's what I want to do. I want to buy a new house or a rental property or save money to put my kids through college or save money to pay taxes. Like, who knows? Last year's taxes for some of us. Yeah. Halfway through the year is great. And that's where we were at when this journey first started 5-6 years ago, is we weren't on track for our goals, and we're like, what one thing, what can we do that will massively change our business and set the course to finish off this year to get back on track and not just hit our goals, but to dominate them. And then most importantly, what we discovered from the journey was that if we do these activities and master them and stay consistent with them, this is going to take us through the following year and beyond. It was our foundation. So do you want to get started?
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Awesome. Just really quick background on Craig. I've been in the business for 22, 23 years. I've closed in excess of 5,000 homes. I have recently owned market centers within the Keller Williams franchises. I had the better part of 1,000 agents. I sold those so I can focus 100% on activities like this. I'm still in personal production. I personally sell a couple houses a month. I've got a team that sells a whole lot more, but I do stay engaged in the business. And Andrea, what's your background?
Yeah, so I've been in the business for just about 9-10 years now. On your team for most of them. I actually started with you About a year into the business, I had worked on my own for a bit.
How many houses did you sell that year?
Yes.
Your first year without me.
Without you, 1.
Oh, good job. Yeah.
First year with you, like 25.
Right.
So that was a good move.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started with you as a showing agent actually, and sort of journeyed up through the real estate ladder, if you will, to running the entire sales team. And now I help you with kind of a little bit of everything.
What was your best year? How many houses did you sell?
142.
That's pretty good.
It was a great year. It was a great year. It was a busy year. It was great.
So you're valid. You know what you're talking about.
I do. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Good job.
Yep. And I continue to sell just like you, selling a few houses a month, staying in production, while working on a bunch of other stuff too.
And now you have twin baby girls.
I do. Yeah. They're 15 months old and they're a handful, but they're so much fun.
Right on. All right. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So big goals. This whole challenge for us is about big goals. When in our case, if you're listing 4 houses a month, and this is true for like whether you're a brand new agent or a super mega agent, like big goals are the ticket. And for us, it was a really big goal. If we're going to go from listing essentially a house a week on average per month to listing a house a day, every single day for 90 days.
Yeah.
And that's what was so crazy about this challenge. It wasn't like, oh, let's list 90 homes in the 90 days that we work.
No.
Let's list 90 houses in 90 days. So if I wanted to take, well, you're going boating tonight. Like if I want to take tonight off to go boating or tomorrow off to be with my family or Sunday off for spiritual, it was super simple. I just had to list 2 houses the day before.
Right.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like 2 houses the day before to be able to afford myself the right to take tomorrow off.
And stay on track.
Well, the other really cool thing about a challenge like this, and by the way, this isn't about 90 listings in 90 days. It's setting a really big goal and challenging yourself and pushing yourself and creating the habits and the mindset and the behaviors to nail that goal. But the other cool thing about this goal, at least for us, when we did it the first time, is it was a listing a day. Like we have so much chaos that comes at us in our industry. Like on any given day, I feel like I'm professional agent, I'm buyer's agent, I'm listing agent, I'm team owner, I'm home inspector, I'm marriage counselor. Like the list goes on and on.
Right.
We deal with a lot of chaos.
A lot.
When you have a challenge so specific to take X listings per day, per week, per month, it really becomes your one thing. And I got to go to bed each night and literally as I shut my eyes, I'd be like, okay, because I had big goals, like I won today. Like I won, I took my listing. I might have had to drive 2 hours from my home base to find somebody dumb enough to sign a contract with me. But at the end of the day, I got my listing contract signed. Now, if I didn't get my listing contract signed, it was super simple. All I would think about before I went to bed is, what do I have to do different tomorrow or more of to put myself in a place to take 2 listings and get caught back up?
Well, and what I loved about it was just, it's the clarity, right? Like you said, there's so much going on in your world and you have so many different roles. And yet, if you can really focus in on the one thing I need to do today is take a listing, then everything else is just, it doesn't matter. Like you just have that one singular focus. And I think clarity just makes everything easier.
And that's the big goals. So what you get by achieving your goals is Zig Ziglar, love him. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. Right. So at the end of the day, like we all set these big, crazy goals. We set these big goals. Like I want to sell X homes. Not all of us do, but most of us do. Most of the people that are in the community of next level agents are incredible agents. Not most, I'm sure they're all incredible agents. They set these big goals and it's like, here's what I want to accomplish. Here's what I want to make. Here's how many families. And at the end of the day, what we found is that if we don't get really clear with the why behind those goals, like why is that important? What is that going to do for me? And as coaches, we get to really dive into that. And we've heard the most amazing things. I mean, some of my favorites over the last year have been, I'm going to open a non-kill animal shelter.
Love that one.
Yeah, and it's like, it turned out they needed to save $5 million. That was the budget. They were in Houston, Texas, and they needed to save $5 million of additional money outside of what they normally make. Or have to live their life. And in $5 million, they're able to buy the building, staff the building, get employees, etc., to save literally tens of thousands of animals over the next 10 years. I thought that was incredible. That's what we call a big why, right? Why do we get out of bed and do the things that we don't want to do when we set these big, crazy goals? Well, the big why for this individual was, I'm going to create a non-kill animal shelter. Another person we coached with has successfully opened an orphanage in the Philippines. Being successful is really hard.
Really hard.
Setting big goals is super easy. Like, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to sell a bunch of houses, or I'm going to list X listings. Super easy to say that. Would you agree?
It's easy to say. It's hard to do.
Super hard to do because life comes at you. I mean, I had triage in my family yesterday, like just major chaos with my 15-year-old daughter. Like, life just happens.
Yeah.
And when it happens, it's really difficult to get back to focus and do the things that aren't necessarily always fun to do, but are necessary to do to hit our goals. So number one, in creating this challenge for yourself, or going after a ton of listings, and make no mistake, in a couple of minutes, we're going to give you some very strategic concepts of how to go out in your market, literally starting today, and get business. But we found if we don't focus on the foundational steps, that more times than not, it just peters out and people end up not doing anything.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of people's, goal is, I want to make a lot of money. I want to make money. I want to be successful and make a lot of money. Right. But you have to kind of peel that back, and it's like, why? What do you want to do with that? What will that do for you? What will getting up each morning and putting on the armor and going out and getting this stuff done, what's that ultimately going to do? And is it worth it? Right. So if you're not clear on that and have that belief that it's worth it, the whole thing just gets a whole lot harder, and it's really hard to stay focused if you don't have a quote big why to get there.
Which essentially comes down to, what will life look like when I achieve this goal? Right? What will it be like? And I was poking fun at Mr. Kaufman yesterday on social media. Sorry, bud. And we've been emailing him, A, as friends, and B, to facilitate and get this all set up. And Kevin's in San Diego. And when we emailed him, his auto response was the greatest I've ever seen. It's like, I'm out for the rest of the month.
That's it.
That's it, period.
That.
No, hey there, I'm out for the rest of the month. It didn't say like contact Bob or contact Sally, or if you really need me in an emergency, reach out to me this way.
Nope.
It just said I'm out for the rest of the month. So when I look at what does it look like when you have massive success like Kevin? What does it look like when you have big goals and a big why behind them? What will your life look like? To me, I don't know. That's a pretty cool quality of life when it's early July and you can literally just leave the state, take your family, go with your friends, and post on your email like, I'm out the rest of the month. Like, in other words, there's people I have in place that are checking this, monitoring this, etc. And you're going to get amazing service because Reger's out. Like, I think that's incredible. For us, what we want in our life is we want a balance and consistency. It's really challenging to sell a ton of houses in summertime. Like, that may sound silly. Like, in our local market for so long, it's like, oh, it's Craig, Reger, and Andrea. These guys sell a ton of houses. And what they didn't know is we're selling a ton of houses because our market has massive seasonality, somewhere between May and September. And by the way, I already mentioned I have kids. You've got young kids. And specifically for me at this time in my life, like, the kids are home for summertime.
Yeah.
And dad's pulling 17-hour days because that's when dad makes 80% of his money.
The busy season, right?
Yeah, so that's great. Like, I need to do that for my family, my finances, my clients. And then lo and behold, like October, November, December, and January and February come along, and I'm flat broke. I'm firing my team members because I'm flat broke. I don't have any business. Or I'm stressed out and wondering, do I need to fire them? And by the way, these are the same amazing team members that were working side by side with me 17 hours a day in summer. That sucks.
Yeah.
So when I just picture what does life look like when you achieve your goals, for me, I was seeking balance and consistency.
So consistency being not having those huge ups and downs.
Sure. I think every market across the country is going to have its own version of seasonality, but I don't want to go from 22 listings in July to two in January, 25 closings in August to 1 in February.
Right.
It's super painful. So if I can balance that out and get up to 35 or 40 closings in my business, which is kind of where we should be at in the summer months, and have 15 to 22 in the winter months, that's pretty cool. That keeps me going. So what will your life look like when you achieve your big goals? On the flip side, what will your life look like if you don't? I've been seeing post after post on social media, agents I'm coaching around the country. Shifts are coming, and in many markets or some markets, it's already there.
They're already here, yeah.
Yeah, so like we've been in this incredible market, and all boats rise with a high tide. And I loved, and early on in my ownership of market centers, I'd interview agents and be like, "Hey, what's your production?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm a $12 million producer." I'm like, "That's incredible." And then I'd look, and they were a $12 million producer in 2006. And here it was in 2009, and there were a $2 million producer or a $4 million producer.
Ouch, yeah, change of the market.
Yeah, like understand a shift affects everybody equally. The $100 million producer might drop down to 60, and the $8 million producer might drop down to 3. Either way, that's incredibly painful.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of this is part of big goals and the right habits is getting our business set up in a way that no matter what comes at us, seasonality shifts, economics, we're still prepared with the mindset and the habits that we can thrive in whatever's happening.
Yep.
And of course, if we don't do these activities, we could be in the group that becomes stagnant or has imbalance, or in a shifting market just frankly gets our ass kicked.
Right.
All right. Next step of foundation is build your support team. I'm a firm believer. There's a reason that Andrea is sitting here with me. She's been in business with me, as you shared, for 10 years now. It is really difficult to achieve alone. I look at the times where I've really been dedicated to going to the gym, and it's like, I'm pretty bad at going to the gym alone. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna sleep in this morning.
Yeah, I think everyone's like that.
Kind of. Yet I know that if I've got a workout partner who got his butt out of bed at 5:30 in the morning and is driving his car to the gym at 5:45 to meet me at 6, no matter how much I don't want to do that activity, it's harder for me to let somebody else down.
Right.
When I've got somebody else meeting me at 6 a.m. in the gym, I'm getting up, I'm going to the gym, and I'm doing my workout. And by the way, I'm working out a little bit harder because he's sitting right next to me doing the same activities.
Mm-hmm. You have accountability.
I do. And to achieve big goals, as we shared, is really difficult. It's just hard. Like, it is different. If it was so freaking easy, we'd all just like every day, I crushed it. That's not reality.
Everyone would have success.
So final piece of your foundation is find your support team. When we go on a challenge like this, or we coach people too, we actually have forms they fill out with significant others, with kids, with their team members, with the broker that leads their office, with top agents in their office that they respect, with their lenders, just really anybody that they value at a super high level. I want to go to them and I want to say, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to go on this crazy challenge. I'm going to list 30 houses in the next 90 days or list 120 houses. Like, the goal is yours. And regardless, I'm going to do this in the next 90 days. It's going to suck. It's going to be difficult. Mm-hmm. And most importantly, I'm sitting down with you because I love you and I respect you and I hope you feel and I believe you feel the same way about me. And I'd like to be able to check in with you or have you check in with me and hold me accountable that I'm doing these activities.
Yeah, and I need your support.
We've coached thousands and thousands, I mean, well excess of 20, 30,000 agents around the country in specifically this program. And there's been groups that still reach out to us like as recently as this week saying, wow, this literally changed my life. It changed my finances. And then of course, there's been hundreds, if not thousands of others saying, gosh, this didn't do much for me. And when we go back and we interview them and say, what happened? Mm-hmm. And what did you do? And what did you do here? Historically, the ones that fail have skipped these first steps. Like, they don't get in touch with their big why. They don't find their support team. They don't take the time to write out, what will my life look like when I achieve these massive goals?
Right. Well, they didn't build the foundation of this challenge, which is why we spent a good few minutes on this call going over it, is because it's so important. The rest of it doesn't matter if you don't have the foundation to build off of.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Next slide.
Okay.
Number one is time block, key to success, right? Like, period, time block. It's and most importantly, stick with it. When I first started understanding time block and lead generation, I got on my phone. Maybe you did it for me. Who knows? Because I'm not good at technology. But anyway, I just blocked out like, I'm going to lead gen 9 to 11.
Right. So there's a block on the calendar.
Yeah, and it just sat there for 2 years.
Did you lead gen from 9 to
11? No,
11?
I ignored it. I did everything but lead gen for 2 years, which is probably why my business got in pain and I need to take on this crazy challenge. But regardless, it should be calendared. It should be in the morning, and we all need to time block. Number one is lead generation.
And then follow it.
Period. Just follow it. It's that simple. You may not know what to do. You may not know who to call. You may not know what to say. You may not know how to find the phone numbers. But the bottom line, if you make that your one thing every single morning, 4 or 5 days a week, and you stick with it, you crush it.
Absolutely.
Now, why do we do it in the morning, not in the afternoons or evenings? Because things attack us. Yeah. Like sick kids, low appraisals, life just happens. The more hours that go throughout the day, there's a reason when I go to the gym, I go at 5:30 in the morning, because it's really rare I call up my workout partner and say, hey bud, I can't make it today. I know it's 5:15 in the morning and everything's blown up on me. Nothing happens. Well, the more hours that go throughout the day, the more likely there is that something really good or something really bad is going to happen. Mm-hmm. One of my mentors, somebody asked him and said, hey, what do you do if it's just physically impossible for you to do your lead generation in the morning? And his answer was brilliant. He said, you just have to do it later in the day, but you have to be more consistent and specifically more disciplined than anybody else. Because you're going to have those things that come at you. And if you just have something going on in your life, maybe you're a single parent and you're taking kids to school or whatever it might be, in the afternoon, you have to be more disciplined than everybody else because you're going to have those things that ambush you.
Way harder.
Number 2 is script practice.
Yeah.
I was so against script practice. Like I was this top agent after all these years. Like, why would I need scripts? And what it turned out, as I shared earlier, I was the top agent who had a really inconsistent, imbalanced business. And I was letting my ego get in the way. And when I recognized that, hey, all I got to do is sit down for 15 or 20 minutes by myself or with a group of people and practice scripts. It's super simple. I'm going to call my sphere today. Well, here's what I'm going to say to them. And I could just say that 10, 20, 30 times by myself or to you. And then lo and behold, for the next hour and a half, I could get on the phone and call my sphere, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, because you practiced it and you knew exactly what to say and how to say it.
Yeah, success is simple, not easy. Like it seems super simple to recognize, wow, if you practice something for 20 or 30 minutes and then you call and use that on people you're calling, it could work. That is simple. The not easy part is we ignore it. We don't do it. We do it for a couple of days. We say this doesn't work and we give up.
Or it doesn't sound like me.
Yeah, of course, lead generation, we've been hitting on that. So that's what we time block. Like, we don't really time block anything else.
Well, you can't over time block, or else then you have to throw it out the window because stuff comes at you and you're too time blocked. So if you time block the most important things and time block them first, you get it out of the way. The rest of the day is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so disciplined. It'd be cool if I was, where I time block, like, I'm going to go on my listing appointments from 2 to 3. Like, that's cool if you can do that. I mean, I will say this is I don't have to go on listing appointments after 5. And the reason is because I and my team have become, and the people we coach, for the most part, have become so darn good at scheduling listing appointments. If somebody wants me to come over at 7 o'clock at night, I don't have to.
Right.
Like, no, dude, I don't do that. I'm done by 5. Like, sorry. And I'm not afraid of them saying, well, screw off. Like, don't come over. We're going to hire somebody else. I don't worry about that because I know if I do the right habits every day between about 8:30 and 11, which is my script practice and my lead generation, I can schedule an abundant amount of listings and take those appointments within the hours I want.
Well, this is part of what 90 and 90 gave you, was the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Because you were able to grow your business. We were able to grow our business to such a level that we could pick and choose who we wanted to work with because we had an abundance and we, quite frankly, had more than we could deal with. So we could pick and choose what we wanted.
Well, that's a whole class on its own. And to go down a quick rabbit trail, a lot of us on this podcast are in pain. Like, we're literally working with people we shouldn't work with. Like, we went home last night. There's somebody right now, if not multiple, it's like went home last night pissed off. And like pissed off is like, I can't believe they wrote that crappy offer. I told them there was multiple offers. I told them they need to offer here. The house was super easy to price. And they were just like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to offer here.
And we're mad at them.
And then we're mad at them. And the reality is they're probably really good people. Yet what's unfortunate is they're just not motivated. They're not what we call an A client.
Right.
And that's okay. Like, not everyone's A clients. What's not okay is we're giving B and C clients our A attention.
Right.
And then because they don't take it and they don't want it because they're not motivated, we go home frustrated and we put all this time and energy into them. We go home frustrated. It's no different with sellers. Like, no, I'm not going to lower the price. Do more open houses. We hear that all the time. Well, that's not a bad seller. It's just, it's not an A seller. An A seller says, wow, I don't like it, Craig, but if that's where my price needs to be, I need to sell the home. I trust you as the expert. Understand, when you get really, really good at time blocking, script practice, and lead generation, you will find an abundance of A clients. You'll also find a ton of B and C's.
Yeah.
Now, the difference is you don't have to work with the B's and C's. The only reason we work with the B's and C's is because we don't have an abundance of A's.
Exactly.
And what would life look like if every person you actually spend your time with is highly motivated to buy or sell a home, and all the rest go into a funnel?
Right, and you have a system to follow up with that funnel so that they pop out on the other side as an A.
Well, and that's the final part of this slide, is lead follow-up. Right? We don't have to go over and waste our time and energy with B's and C's. We only work with them because we don't have any other clients. The B's and C's, we simply put into a pipeline. We stay in consistent communication with them. And when they turn into A's, we go over and we put a sign up in their yard.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Good.
So in other words, we're time blocking big follow-up as well.
Yep.
And then lastly, the cute little dart there is, and this is a big one, does your schedule match your goals? And next, we're going to go right into some tactics to get these listings. And I want to pause on this one. Does your schedule match your goals? Like, folks, some of you are driving, some of you are sitting at your desk, some of you have probably already turned off, like, whatever. I'm going to challenge the ones that are still on. Pull out your phone right now or your paper calendar and look at your schedule for the last 10 days. Yeah, the 4th of July holiday's in there. That might be a little different. Good for you. I hope you had time off. You deserve it. But look at your last 15 days or look at the next 7. Where have you been spending your time? Like, you got these goals. I'm going to make this much money or sell this many homes or serve this many families. That's awesome. You set them. Now, I'm going to challenge you. Does your schedule match your goals? If you were to drive right out of my office, pull it out in front of Andrew and I, and we looked at your phone and we asked you your goal and we looked at the activities you've been doing for the last 2 weeks, would we say, wow, this guy or this lady's 100% in alignment of hitting the goals he or she has set for 2019 beyond? Or be like, hey, no wonder you're 57% behind.
Right.
Does your schedule match your goals? If you've got a goal to list a ton of properties, make no mistake, you need a schedule that you're following that matches that.
So here's the challenge: is take a look at the next 10 days and your schedule there. And does that match what your goals should be for the rest of the month?
Yeah, and if not, it's pretty simple. Put it on and do it. Even if you don't exactly know what you're doing, put it on and do it. Like, I could bring this one little expression so much deeper. Does your schedule match your goals? Like, I brought up several times already, I'm a dad. Well, if I want to be a phenomenal dad, and if I want to on my deathbed be like, wow, Craig crushed as a dad, and my kids love me, and my grandkids love me, then make no mistake, I should have on my calendar, I should have blocked out time that I'm with my family. Mm-hmm. And that may seem crazy, but in this crazy business, we can get so overwhelmed and so busy that we miss soccer games, we miss date nights, we miss fishing days with our son, we miss golfing days with our daughter. Mm-hmm. And it goes like, if I want to be a great husband, then show me on your calendar where you spent time with your wife. Does your schedule match your goals? Mm-hmm. In this case, this is a business class, and it's specifically a listing class. Show me where you have time blocked on your calendar to hit your listing goals. And by the way, why are we focusing just on listings? Because we know without hesitation, if we dominate the listing market, we will dominate the buyer market.
Absolutely.
If you want to be the #1 buyer closing agent in your MLS, it's pretty darn simple. All you have to do is take the most listings. Mm-hmm. I picture like a grocery store, almost like a Trader Joe's, and your shelves are stocked. Well, we shop at Trader Joe's, we shop at Costco, like we go to Nordstrom, we go to these stores whose shelves are stocked with really good product. Is that fair?
Yes.
Well, if you're the #1 listing agent in your market, your shelves are stocked with great listings. Mm-hmm. You don't ever have to spend money on Boomtown or Zillow or anything else again. Make no mistake, when you've got your shelf stocked with listings, all the buyers come to you.
Exactly. Well, and we talk about this a lot in the full version of this class, is that I was actually a buyer's agent during the R90 and 90 challenge, and I was incredibly busy as a buyer's agent, incredibly, and it was all based off of the listings that we were achieving throughout our 90 and 90.
So let's play that out. As a buyer's agent, this is not a team course, because everybody on this call, even if you're an individual agent, you've got like 4 jobs. You're the CEO of your company. You get to pick where you work, yes or no?
Yes.
If you're an agent, sooner or later, you want to go and take a listing, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the CEO and the listing agent. If you're an agent, sooner or later, you go and show buyer properties.
Yes.
Okay, so you're the CEO, you're the listing agent, you're the buyer's agent of your own company if you're an individual agent.
Yep.
Lastly, if you're successful in any of these areas, you have paperwork.
You do.
You've got to write offers. You've got to turn in paperwork to your brokerage. You've got to order stagers and put signs up, and you probably should be doing touches to your database.
Right.
So then you're the admin of your company.
Yep.
So sometimes people are like, wow, Craig and Andrew, you're talking so much about a team. Well, understand, whether you have a team of 10 people, 80 people, or it's just you are a team of 4. Uh-huh. There's at least 4 roles in the company. On any given day, you're doing all 4 of those jobs.
Exactly.
Or you should be, to be successful.
So an individual agent, you're just your own. You are your team.
So what you just said is, during our first challenge, you were not a listing agent, you're a buyer's agent.
I was 1,000% a buyer's agent. I took 0 listings.
Yet you got up every single day with me during the challenge and the rest of the team, and you lead gen for buyers or sellers.
Sellers.
Why?
Listings. Because listings, well, because we were in a challenge and that's what we did as a team.
True.
And because listings, I knew that they would bring me and fill my plate of buyers. I didn't need to lead generate for buyers. In fact, I got better buyers by lead generating for listings, because I got the buyers off of those listings, whether it was awesome open houses to hold, whether it was we sold their listing and now they need to buy. I got literally A buyers off of these top listings that we were getting.
Oh, so when I sold a seller's home they needed to buy, that was an A buyer.
Yeah, they had to be homeless.
They're what we call a homeless buyer, because I just sold their listing.
Right.
And isn't it true, guys? And it doesn't matter where you work at. There's certain homes on certain streets, in certain school districts, in certain neighborhoods. And when you take that listing, your phone goes bananas.
Yeah.
And there's other listings that aren't bad, but they're on the other side of town, on that other street, in that other school district, and they're good homes. But when you take that listing, you get some calls.
Mm-hmm.
Understand, again, when you dominate the listing market and have an abundance of listings,
Right.
that you get some of those listings in some of those neighborhoods where you get 20, 30, 40, 50 phone calls, 30, 40, 50 people show up at your open house.
Mm-hmm.
You can absolutely suck at converting buyers at the open house. And if you get 30, 40, or 50 people to show up,
You're bound to
odds
get
are
some.
you're going to convert some buyers.
Exactly. It'd be hard not to.
All right, let's go to some strategies. Next slide.
All right. Getting into the fun stuff. Okay.
This is one of my absolute all-time favorite strategies. We're in a climate here in Oregon where it's actually been raining all week. It's July. That's kind of weird. If I was in a climate where it was sunnier, I'd be doing this 24/7. Yeah, this is something we dominate in the summer months, and we'll do in the winter months if it's not a complete monsoon in the Pacific Northwest. It's door knocking with offers. So we've all heard door knocking, like you can door knock before your open house and invite people. You can door knock you're just listed. You can door knock you're just sold.
Hot neighborhood.
Hot neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah. Anything.
Neighborhood you live in. That's great. Like, I applaud it. I think it's fantastic. It's more than 90% of the agents do. Great job.
Right.
For me, like, I really despise lead generation. I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good. I know I have to do it for a few hours a day to super high level to hit my goals. But to this day, like, I don't like it. It sucks. I don't want to do it. So when I do my lead generation, I try and do it in a way that makes it easier and simpler and makes people pay more attention to me.
It makes you valid.
Yeah, and so that's what door knocking with offers is. So let's play this out. Andrea, in the last week, have you had a seller that you've represented
Mm-hmm.
who received multiple offers?
I did. Yes.
Okay, so in other words, your seller got multiple offers, your seller picked one offer, and then you had several other offers that your client rejected or put back up.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Have you in the last week, you or the agents you're overseeing,
Mm-hmm.
have they had a offer they wrote on a listing, so you represent the buyer,
Okay.
and they wrote an offer, and then lo and behold, their offer was not accepted?
Unfortunately, we've had a couple.
Oh, so sometimes we write offers and we lose.
Yep.
So this is the premise of door knocking with offers. Either we represent a seller and get multiple offers,
Mhm.
so we have extra offers to door knock with, or we represent a buyer who wants to live in a neighborhood. They made an offer and they lost.
Yeah.
All right, let's walk through it. So when you
Okay.
sell a listing with multiple offers, take copies of the losing offer and black out any private information. So
Okay.
let's go to the seller strategy. You represent that seller. They got
Okay.
multiple offers. They took the one they wanted, and there was two others.
Okay.
So go through in most of our contracts around the country, from what I've seen on page 1, we've got both agents' names.
Yes.
Cross out the other agent's name. So
Okay.
what's remaining?
My name and my company.
Andrea Morrison, XYZ Realty. Perfect. Normally somewhere on page 1 is the address.
That's good.
Leave that. Don't cross
Yeah.
it out. We need
Okay.
that.
Got it.
Normally on page 1 is the buyer's names.
Okay.
Okay, Jim and Susie Buyer. Cross
Yeah.
out their last name.
Okay.
Right? So now it's not something we can't share. It just says Jim and Susie now.
Yeah.
Normally the seller's name, Bob and Melissa Seller, cross out their last name.
Okay.
So long story short, what's remaining? Andrea Morrison, Keller Williams Realty, 123 Main Street, your city, Jim and Susie Buyer, Bob and Sally Seller, 475,000. Is there anything confidential on that page?
No. And there's one more really great thing.
What?
The date.
Oh, the date. This was the last few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of you on this call have multiple offers going right now. So take those losing offers, black out anything confidential, take a picture of this script, or maybe Kevin will send this out to everybody, and use it. Go knock on the door.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Craig Reger, KW. I just sold your neighbor's house down the street. And at this point, I'm going to hold up a copy of the offer with multiple offers. Several buyers missed out on that home. These buyers are well qualified and they really want to live in your neighborhood. Have you thought about selling your house in this hot real estate market? And the entire time, I'm literally holding up a copy of the offer from the house down the street.
The one pager.
The one page.
Yeah.
That's it. I'll make like 50 copies of that one page. I'll go and knock 50 doors around my listing that had multiple offers.
Okay.
I'm holding it up, and at the end of the script, like knock, knock, it's Craig or KW. I just sold your neighbor's house down the street. We had multiple offers.
Mhm.
We had several buyers miss out on that property who were really great offers. Here's a copy of one of them. Have you thought about selling your house in this hot real estate market? If you have any desire to sell your house, what's going through your head?
This guy is valid. He knows what he's doing. He just sold another house, and there's a buyer who literally wants to live on my street.
So if you go on Zillow, can you find a copy of the losing offers?
Definitely
If
not.
you go on Google, can you find a copy of the losing offers?
Nope.
So you're actually giving them something that technology has yet been able to give them.
Mhm.
That's a pretty good thing these days.
Really good.
Honestly, here's what typically happens if you have any desire to sell your home. Here's what I hear. Honey, come here. right? Like it starts out with the dogs barking. You don't even want me on your stoop. You want me to go away. You're peering through the windows. And then it goes to, honey, come here. And you're either inviting me inside for a meeting, or more likely, because I have more doors to knock and your house isn't prepared for me to come through, you're like, actually, we are thinking about selling. Can we schedule a time?
Okay, and what about the people who aren't thinking about selling?
Well, because as you said, you're so valid, what happens is they're like, no, we're totally cool, man. Have you gone to that house? They're pregnant with twins. I heard they might need a bigger home. Have you gone to that house? I heard they're taking a relocation to Arizona. Have you gone to that house? I heard their marriage is on the rocks and they're about to sell. I'm not kidding.
But they do. They share all that with you because you're valid.
If they're in the know of who wants to buy or sell. I was at a 4th of July party and I was talking with my buddy. He's like, that house across the street's going to sell, Reger. Super nice house, $1 million home. And he's like, they're both in a care facility. He's like, you need to find them or send letters or find their kids. That house is, neighbors know what's going on in their neighborhood. Yes or no?
Absolutely. Yep.
So really cool strategy. Likewise, you can do this as I shared if you represent a buyer. So you represent a buyer. They just lost to multiple offers. How's your buyer feeling?
Sad.
Pretty crappy.
Yeah, not good. They're not happy.
So take a copy of their offer. Go knock on around that listing. Oh, by the way, sorry, let's go back one step. If I get people that want to sell in the neighborhood, I list it. And then I call the agents. I'll call Kevin. Kevin wrote that losing offer on my property. I'll try and steal his buyers. Hey, Kevin, I got great news. You know, you made an offer last week on my property on Dillo Drive and you lost out. I just listed 2 more houses on that street. Bring your buyers over. Like, that's a good courtesy call to Kevin, cool. Yes?
Yeah.
Well, likewise, my buyers lost out on the home. They're super unhappy. Buyers don't like losing.
It's not fun. No one likes that.
Take a copy of their offer. Black out anything confidential. Knock the neighborhood. Knock, knock.
Hello?
Hey, this is Craig Reger. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. Do you see that house around the corner that's for sale?
Yeah.
You know, it actually sold this weekend. I know that because my buyer offered on it. They came in just over full price. They lost. I don't know why. Maybe it was cash or something. Bottom line, my buyers are really well qualified. They really want to live on your street. Here's a copy of their offer. Have you thought about selling your home?
Works the same way.
Pretty cool.
Really good.
All right, next
And
one.
then, well, hold on.
All right.
Then you got to do my favorite part, which is call up your buyers.
Oh, that's true. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Andrew and Gus, it's Craig. How are you?
We're not good. We're just really sad about that house.
Yeah, I know. It super sucks you lost out on that one. I want to tell you, my team and I love you guys so much. We know you want to live in that street. We know you want that school district. Last night, we went and door knocked 100 houses around Dillo Drive, that street you offered on. And we actually found 6 people considering selling their house. And if they choose to sell, we're going to get you in there before the competition.
Wow, you're the best agent ever.
Exactly. Well, that is a feel-good call. Let's tell our buyers what we're doing for them. We're going the extra mile.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, good point. All right, next slide.
Okay.
How are we doing on time? We're doing great. We're crushing it. Rent bows. What's a rent bow?
Okay, well, it's like, you know, a FSBO.
Yeah, I know what a FSBO is, for sale by owner.
Yeah, well, it's like that. It's somebody looking to rent out their home by themselves.
Oh, so you got multiple rentals.
Yes, I do.
They actually used to be mine, Amory, and I sold them to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Gave you a good price on one of them. Anyway, all right, so you've got multiple rentals. So did you hire a property manager to rent them for you?
No.
Because in Oregon, we don't actually rent properties typically as real estate agents. Like, that's not part of our services. We just list buyers and sellers. So you chose as an individual to not hire a property manager. You actually placed ads where?
On Craigslist.
Anywhere else?
Zillow.
Yeah, anywhere else? Maybe social media?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just kind of some easy sites.
Okay, so you ran some ads. I own this rental property. It's coming up on the market on October 1st, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
So you're a rent bow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not a professional company. You're renting it yourself. Mm-hmm. So we already talked about where you find them, specifically Craigslist, absolutely Zillow, potentially social media. You might see them pop up on.
Mm-hmm.
So as a landlord, and you've owned them for a couple of years,
yes.
When you're meeting applicants over to tour the property, do they always show up?
No.
Oh, but wait, you have 15-month-old baby twin girls. Is that fun to get the twins in the car and go over there and sit there for 30 minutes to have people not show up?
It's terrible.
Have you had a renter trash the place yet?
I've had them leave it not so nice.
Yeah, well, that's different than trashing. You're young in the rental business. Like in a matter of time, you're gonna have somebody move out. It's gonna be trashed. That's no fun.
No.
Being a landlord's amazing, but these things are real life things that happen when you have rental properties.
Right.
So long story short, is it possible that through the frustration of being a landlord, as an agent, if we get in front of these landlords and say, look, here's the reality, we're in a super hot market. In fact, in my opinion, in Portland, Oregon, we just got over peak pricing. Would you rather sell than rent? There's a group of them that will say, heck yeah, I just had a really crappy experience. I'm fed up. I'll sell rather than rent. So walk us through the script, Andrea.
Yeah. So ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Craig?
It is.
Hi, Craig. This is Andrea with Keller Williams Realty. I just saw your property for rent on Craigslist. I'm calling to ask if you've considered selling your home in this hot real estate market.
No, I don't want to sell. I'm super happy.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for thinking about that. It sounds like you're a pretty savvy investor. We actually have a team of 5 full-time buyer's agents looking for the very best deals in the city 7 days a week. If we find an amazing opportunity, are you interested in acquiring more rental homes?
Yeah, we're always looking for a good deal.
Sweet, let's sit down.
Here's what I love about the script, and this is a listing course, 90 listings in 90 days that Kevin's been so kind to let us share with next level agents. But at the end of the day, we also talked about listings are the greatest bait and attractor to find buyers. So make no mistake, if every single day, so we've got our VA every single day, our virtual assistant, go online, find all of the rent bows in our local markets.
Yes.
And what she does is she loads them into our database. And every morning, like literally as we're sitting here now at 9:40 in the morning, my team is in the office next door calling repos.
Yep.
They just are.
Yeah.
And they're using the script. Now, there's a group that says, good timing, game on. I'm super frustrated with this rental game. Yeah, if it really is that good of a market and if you can really get me top dollar, I would sell. And there's another group that says, hell no, like I'm super happy. This thing's a cash cow. I've got 11 of them. Cool. Well, who doesn't want to be called a savvy investor?
That feels good.
You're a savvy investor.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're a savvy investor. If I could find you more of these, would you buy them? So really great script for lead generation to find listings. And by the way, in most markets, you have literally zero competition with the script.
Yeah, no one's doing it.
And really great way to find investors. So understand now, when we find a good investment property, a good flip property, a good rental property, we don't even hit the multiple listing.
Nope. We
can just go through our database because we've been making these calls now for 6 years. We've probably 1,000 rent bows.
Several hundred, yeah.
Well, more than that over time. In the flipper, several hundred, and the actual people that own investment properties, the better part of 1,000. We have to call, like literally start with one, go through all of them. We just listed this awesome property on 123 Main Street. We think can make a great rental. Are you looking? Are you considering building your portfolio?
Yeah. So then we end up selling our own listings, and our sellers love it because we can actually bring them buyers.
Yeah, super great.
It all plays together.
All right, next one.
Okay. Oh, this is good.
Sphere. I could do an entire course on this. In fact, I have done an entire course on this. When I coach agents around the country, the number one reason I find agents are not hitting their goals is because they don't have a database or a CRM, and they're doing a miserable job of staying in touch with their past clients. Each of you right now, I'd ask you this question. As my wife, Amory, and I moved to your city 1 year ago today, you handed us keys to our home. You sold us a home, or you represented us as buyer's agent. You killed it. Just killed it. Great job. I applaud you. Big hug, gave me a gift basket, rock on. It's been 1 year today. How many times have Amory and I heard from you? Go ahead.
I was going to say, we usually hear the number 4.
Yeah, 4, 0, 10. My favorite was one guy said, if you drink beer, we could have gone out a few times.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very undefined. These are top, like normally when I'm coaching, it's nothing less than a top real estate agent. And it's like, are you kidding? Like you go through all of that work and you do such a phenomenal job of helping us find this home. And it's been a year and we've heard from you 4 times. Like that sucks. Yet we go and hold open houses this weekend to convince people that we don't know to hire us as their agent. Is that weird to you?
It's kind of weird.
Like
why are we trying so hard when there's so many people who love us?
Yeah, you're going to call expireds today to convince people you don't know to hire you. You're going to call rent bows today to convince people you don't know to hire you. You're going to go and door knock with offers, which is a really cool strategy to convince people you don't know to hire you. And yet at the end of the day, we're not staying in a great communication with our database.
We really shouldn't be doing anything else until our database is we're getting the most out of it, right? And then if we're not achieving our goals, there's all these other strategies to put on top of it. But database is that foundational piece.
Yeah, now if you just got dropped off in your city from the Alaska Arctic and you don't know anybody, then go and do those other strategies to meet people, put them in your database and stay in touch with them.
Yeah, you still need the database.
With the exception of that, all of us should have a database that we use every single day. We call them. So for many of us, we have not called them in a long time, including myself. So here's what my first call looks like when I haven't talked to somebody forever. And I'll preface this by saying that it's not uncommon that I'm driving and showing homes. It's not uncommon I'm taking my kids to soccer practice, right? So I'm out in my community driving around, and because I've been doing this for a while, I'm constantly driving by houses I've sold. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Andrea, it's Craig Reger with Keller Williams Realty. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, we haven't talked in a long time, and I actually was taking Olivia to West Ridge Elementary School for soccer this weekend, and I drove by your house, and it reminded me of how much I enjoyed working with you and Gus. I can't believe I let this much time go by. I promised myself I'd call you and just check in. How the heck are you guys doing?
Well, that's really nice. We're really good. How are you?
Good. Doing great.
Good.
Kids are in high school. Life's good. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even have the guts on this initial phone call. Hey, while we're talking, do you know anybody wants to buy Star Vista real estate? Like, for me, I can't be that chump. Like, I know I haven't talked to you in 5 years.
But
it's just a really simple catch up.
Yeah. It's a good way to break the ice, because I think everyone stops, they freeze. They're like, well, I haven't called in 5 years. Like, what do? I don't know what to say. This is what you do and say. And then you can get on a trajectory of calling once a quarter or whatever you know.
Now you've broken the ice. Now you can start asking me. Here's what happened inevitably as soon as I started making these phone calls. 3-4 days later, ring, ring.
Hello?
Oh, hey, this is Sally, and you sold my sister Andrea and Gus their house, and we just had dinner with them last night, and we're relocating to Seattle, and they told us you're the best agents in Portland. Can we meet with you about selling our house? Like,
That's
I
awesome.
literally didn't even ask you guys for a referral. I just checked in. And by the way, I didn't just do this with you. I made 150 phone calls yesterday, today, tomorrow, etc. Doing this every single day. And lo and behold, because I'm top of mind, some of them run into somebody at the coffee cooler and say like, hey, I'm thinking about buying or selling a house. And because I'm top of mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just heard from Craig Reger. He's awesome. You need to reach out to him. I immediately started getting business off. This number 2 is face-to-face. Andrew, do you eat lunch?
I like lunch. Yeah, it's really good.
I like good lunch, actually. I'm kind of a food snob. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Andrea, and so who do I want to call for lunch? I want to call people that have supported me in the past at a high level, or have the ability, if I build a relationship, to support me at a high level.
Give me an example.
Well, support me at a high level, the ability to support me at a high level would be somebody that's given me past referrals.
Okay.
The ability to is somebody that interacts with a lot of people. I think hairstylists, I think CPAs, I think people that are in front of groups all the time.
Got it.
My insurance agent.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Andrew, it's Craig Reger, KW. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Your sister Susie, Hannah, it's your real sister Hannah, and I did sell her house. Hannah's awesome. I want to thank you for that referral. I know I sent you a Starbucks card. It's been like 9 months, and I've never really thanked you and Gus enough. I just want to see if you guys have free time in the month of July to buy you lunch.
Oh, that's so nice. We'd love to.
Cool. What's your favorite restaurant?
I like Stanford's.
I love Stanford's. I actually had Stanford's 2 days ago. What's your favorite meal at Stanford's?
The salad that they have in the sandwich.
The one with crab?
Yeah, it's so good.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we meet at my office? Is the 22nd okay with you?
Perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna have my staff go and pick up on that salad, that sandwich with the crab. My office is right down the road from you guys. Why don't we meet here at noon on the 22nd? I'll have everything hot and ready for you. Buy you a nice lunch, catch up with you guys. How does that sound?
Phenomenal.
Awesome. I schedule a ton of lunches at my office. I do have a staff I pay. If you don't, then pick it up yourself or meet them at the restaurant. For me, I like to meet at the office because it's fast. It's super fast. I'm not driving 30 minutes to downtown Portland. I'm sitting down with them face to face. I have a hot meal. We have a great time. We're done in 40 minutes. I reestablished the relationship. We talk about their life, their family, mine. At some point, I ask for referrals. I send them a thank you card afterwards. Incredible business source. And if you feel awkward, we're in your office, then go and meet them. Just know that will take you more time. But these face-to-face meetings have been killer. Final strategy with Sphere is social media. Well, not final strategy. We have 1,000 strategies with Sphere, but this is our get in relationship, get business quick strategies. Talk about what we did on social media.
Yeah, so this is really good. I mean, social media is an amazing way to be able to kind of reach out to your sphere. A lot of people hit them all at once. And this is just a great, it's posted on your screen there. This is a great post that somebody on our team who is brand new to the business just got licensed. She was the listing coordinator for us, which basically meant she inputted listings and ran pricing and that kind of thing. She posted on her personal Facebook page, anyone curious about your home's value? I'm practicing doing comps and I'd love to show you. I'd love to check that out for you. And she probably got
20 responses.
Yep. I know we listed 6 homes just from that one post.
Yeah, continue to list more of our team doing it. 6 from this first time it was posted. Anyone curious about your home's value? I'm practicing doing conferencing to check it out for you. Now, she was a brand new agent on our team.
Yeah.
She had a mom's group. She was a single mom. She'd come from the medical sales. Like, her sphere just was all over this.
Totally.
Like 20, 30 people said, yeah, I'd like to know my home's value. To the 20 or 36. And most of them were just curious.
Yeah.
But the 6, we ended up taking 6 of them. We ended up taking listings. Now, for a more seasoned agent like you, 10 years in the business, you've probably closed over 1,000 properties.
Yeah.
That'd be a weird post.
I can't write that.
So how about if you posted, this is about overcoming limiting beliefs. If you posted, hey, mentoring a new agent in my office, teaching him or her how to price homes appropriately, who wants to know your home's value?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Or what if you got some new technology or technology you already have that you just never use? If maybe it's part of your multiple listing. Hey, I've got some new technology that helps price properties. Who wants to know your home's value?
Yeah.
Post something. Don't be a secret agent. Get out there and see what happens. I also like to throw in, by the way, I'm much more accurate than Zillow. Next slide.
That's a cute one.
All right, we'll run through these next slides pretty quick, and then we'll move into a last Q&A. This is our Bible. This is our baby, pre-qualifying for listing appointments. Yeah. I physically will not go on a listing appointment, Kevin, without this in my hand. It's what we call the pink sheet.
Why is it called the pink sheet?
Well, because if you go, I'm a mess, man. I'm just a typical mega agent. Like, my car's a mess. My desk is a mess. My home office is a mess. Like it's messy. I got crap everywhere, and most of my crap is white paper. But when I've got this represents in my market $12,000 because that's my average commission in Portland, Oregon for a listing. It's hot pink. And it's a pre-qualification sheet. So go to the next page.
Okay.
Just running through it really quickly, I'll put my eyes on because I'm 40-something years old. We've got all their contact info. We ask every one of these questions before going on any single listing appointment. Why are you thinking of selling? Who do you know? Or do you know where you'd like to move? Do you have a sense of your timeline? Are you already working with an agent? Are you considering selling your house for sale by owner? If you're to think about your motivation on a scale of 1 to 10, Kevin, 1 being, I don't care if I sell, 10 is I need to get out of here yesterday. What are you? You think that's a good question to ask before you go to somebody's house?
Yeah, I'd like to know their motivation before I show up at their door.
The follow-up is great. Is there anything that would make it a 10? If they're not a 10, what would make it a 10? If for some reason your home doesn't sell within your timeline, what would you do next? Well, I'll stay here for 5 years and remodel. There's no judgment in this. I just want to know what's going on. If you decide to sell your home, here's my absolute hands down most favorite question. If you decide to sell your home, what are the 3 most important qualities you expect from your agent? I will not go on a listing opportunity without this question filled out. What we see most consistently is we see market knowledge, we see ability to get top dollar, we see communication. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, my entire listing appointment is built off of these 3 questions. Why the heck would I go and talk about all of the great marketing I do if what's most important to them is negotiating, getting top dollar, market knowledge, and communication? So I'm able to cater my entire presentation to just these 3 questions. Yep. It goes on to tell me about your home, blah, blah, blah. How many years have you owned it, blah, blah, blah. Have you done any updates on your home? I love this question. We hear everything from, we did a $200,000 kitchen remodel to we put a new garbage disposal in 10 years ago. Again, no good or bad. I just want to know exactly what they're doing. How would you personally rate your home on a scale of 1 to 10?
This is good.
How would you rate your home on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 is falling over, 10 is perfect. And what I love about this question is if somebody tells me their house is a 6 or a 7, and then the follow-up question is what would it take to make it a 10? Well, I need to fix up the fence and update the master bathroom and the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And then I go to their home and I tell them it's worth $400,000. And then they tell me like, geez, Craig, we really want to $425,000. I'll go back to question number 11 of rate your home on a scale of 1 to 10. You said you're a 6 or 7 because your master bathroom, kitchen, and fence are not updated. If your property had those things, you'd be a $425,000 to $440,000 home. As they sit today, you're $400,000. They can't really argue with me when I tell them I can't give you the price you want because I agree with you. Your condition's not a 10.
It's their own words.
I love these follow-up questions. How would you first? Or that's there. Number 20 is: do you have a sense of how much you think your house is worth?
And what number is it?
Number 20. Why do we ask number 20? What do you think your house is worth?
Well, why do we ask it as number 20?
Yeah.
Because we've already built the report because we asked 19 other questions already.
So in other words, if I ask this question number 2, like, cool, I'm excited to see you tomorrow at 2:00, what's your house worth? The most common answer is screw you. That's why you're coming over. I don't know. But because I'm going through these without judgment, When somebody on question number, I think it's 6, and I'm like, on a scale 1 to 10, number 7, what's your motivation to sell? When they say a 2, I don't be like, what's wrong with you, dude? We're in a hot market with 1.3 months of inventory. Don't be an idiot. You should be a 10 in this hot market. I don't say that. I say, oh, great, you're a 2. What would it take to make it a 10? All I am is on a fact-finding mission. There's no judgment. There's no selling. So when I get to question 20 and say,
how much do you think your
how
house
much do you think
worth?
your house is worth?
They spit out 400.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean I'm gonna tell them their house is worth 400, but this is information I want to know before I get there. I literally, like, part of today is what's my listing presentation? I get this 1 or 2 days before I go over and I study it. Oh, they want to know about communication. I better talk high about communication. They want 400 for their home. I better find out if that's realistic. And by the way, if it's not, I better come up with some really good evidence why it's not.
Yes.
I base my entire presentation off of this. Next slide.
Okay.
Kevin, are we doing good? About 2 more minutes?
Dude, you guys are crushing it. I'll go as long as you go. You guys are right in the middle of it, so do your thing.
All right, here's ways to win. We're just at the tail end. 2 more slides. Extinguish limiting beliefs, right? I can't do that. That won't work in my market. That's not me. I'm too busy. I suck at this. I don't know who to call. Ways to win is extinguishing limiting beliefs.
So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't say those things
Stop
to
doing
yourself.
that.
That's bad.
Well, anyone that coaches with us, or has a good coach in general, anyone that's incredibly successful works really hard to overcome extinguishing and overcoming limiting beliefs.
Yes.
I was coaching a young man yesterday, just not even a realtor, just a young man that drove 2 hours, family friend, and said, Craig, I'd like to be successful and I want to interview you. And I asked him what his goal was, and it took him like 10 minutes in life. And he finally spit out, he said, I would like to be a millionaire by age 40. He was 24 years old.
That's a good goal.
It's a good goal, but it sucks to say I would like. Successful people who become millionaires by age 40 say, I choose to become a millionaire. I will become a millionaire. I intend to become a millionaire. I would like to become a millionaire. Odds are he won't with that type of language. That's a limiting belief. He's already saying it probably won't happen, but damn, it would be great if I did. Extinguish limiting beliefs. Number 2, lead with revenue. Do not go out and spend a bunch of money. In a second, we're going to have a slide. If you choose to sign up for our 8-week course, understand in about 50 minutes here, we give you a condensed version of an 8-week course that Andrew and I teach. And there's some great technology that we can swipe our Visa on that will give us leads.
Yes.
Don't do it.
We didn't do it when we started.
Don't do it. Don't go and spend money on crap you're never going to use. Number 1, let's get our mindset right. Let's get our big why in place. Let's get a foundation of lead generation with our sphere, with expireds, with rentbos, with door knocking. All of that is free. And then when you make money off of that, we can then invest it into things that might make this easier for us, be that technology or leads we buy. Next is reward yourself and all who contribute at key milestones.
Yeah. Well, this is big, especially if you're doing a 90 and 90 challenge, which is what we kind of built this off of, is every 30 days we had a milestone and a reward. And what it does is it kind of just breaks things up. It rewards you, your team of supporters, whatever it is, so that you're not after this big goal. It's not like in the next 12 months, I'm going to sell 500 homes. I'll check in with you December 31st. It's all along the way. Where are we at? How are we doing? And rewarding yourself along the way, because it's a long journey. Yeah,
this is on social media. We did a 30-day challenge, 60 days ago. And we hit 30 listings in 30 days, Kevin. And it was awesome.
So good.
Yeah, and the entire team, 10 of us, got a $1,000 Nordstrom card. That was expensive.
Super good.
It's expensive for me as a team owner. Understand, to write a $10,000 check, I need to make 25 or 30,000. I just do. And that was but understand, when we took 30 listings with an average commission of $12,000 each, I very happily wrote that check. So that was a reward to the team for a job well done. It doesn't have to be that. It might be, hey, family, the next 30 days are going to suck because I'm going to go and pull 13 hours a day to hit my listing goals, and you're not going to see me. At the end of this, we're going to go to San Diego, we're going to go to Hawaii, or we're going to go on a date night, or I'm going to buy you a puppy. But reward those, because there's a lot of people around you that will sacrifice as you build these habits. As you build that knowledge, right? If you go to the gym tomorrow and you haven't been for a year, you're going to be sore as hell for the next 3 days, yes or no?
Yeah, that happens.
If you go to the gym every single day for the next 90 days and work out for 2 or 3 hours, in 90 days, you are strong and your body is transformed, yes or no?
Absolutely.
In 300 days, you look like a different person. right? So it's very difficult to go through this process, and there's going to be people that have sacrifices besides yourself along the way. Reward them. Expect breakdowns and use them as breakthroughs. In our first challenge, an additional sense, I have never, and I'm not a crier, I've never cried more in my life. Again, it is super difficult to break through ceilings and be exceptionally successful. If it was, we'd all do it every single day. Use those breakdowns, use your support group to get back up and understand that growing pains are real. Set campaigns for optimum results, right? It'd be a horrible time for Kevin and his team to do a really big listing challenge. Maybe not because his team's so dialed in, but it might be because he's in San Diego and his team's back in Arizona and his expansion team's around the country.
Kevin's gone for a month.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I don't know his team intimately enough, but for me, if I set the campaign when I was gone, my team's not mature enough at this point to be able to hit that goal without me showing up more days of the week and leading.
Your schedule has to match your goals, right?
Absolutely.
Always comes back to that.
Find creative ways to maintain morale and keep positive. We were coming in constantly on Saturdays and Sundays and doing additional 4 to 5 hours of lead gen.
It was rough.
So in other words, we weren't just every day like, sweet, I took my listing today. So what did we have to do? Because we're dedicated to the goal. We had to come in Saturdays and Sundays and do 4 to 5 hours of lead gen. And the morale part is our admin team, our success team, as we call them, would show up with donuts, bagels, and coffee. We didn't ask them to, but understand, do our admin team make money directly off of our listings and closings? Say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were showing up saying, you guys are awesome. I know this sucks. I know it's the last thing in the world you want to do on a Saturday and Sunday, and I'm proud of you for being dedicated to your goals. They were coming in with their kids and dropping off food for us. That, like, when that happens, I hit the phones harder. That was a morale builder. Lastly, don't compromise on your goal. Like, that's why we came in evenings and weekends. That's why we cried. That's why we had breakdowns. That's why I literally would drive 2 hours to unknown parts of Oregon for one person that would choose to hire me that day because I couldn't find anything that particular day in my local market. I did whatever was necessary to hit my goals. And by hitting them, I got confidence and momentum. And when I got confidence and momentum, lo and behold, business starts attracting and coming to you, and everything gets easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a catch-up game for a while, to be honest. And then you just kind of get into this rhythm, and that's what makes it work. And that's where it's like, don't compromise your goal, right? Because you only have two. If you're behind, you only have two options: change the goal or change your activities. And we chose to change our activities.
All right, final slide, Andrea, and then Q&A. Final slide. Go one more. One more slide.
Okay, I think that's it.
Oh, there's no coaching slide.
That's the coaching slide.
Oh, that's it. All right. What's it say? It says if you, that's great. If you want to take a full course, we got 90 listings in 90 days. It's an 8-hour course. It's launching on July 24th. If you got value out of this, that's fantastic. Andrew and I are super passionate about this. We are offering a $50 coupon code for next level agents. So we get $50 off the course, which I think is 25%. Yeah. All right, moving on. Kevin, any Q&A, buddy?
Dude, first of all, thank you. You guys, I didn't even ask you to offer a discount to the group, and you did that all on your own. So first of all, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I'm just going to go ahead and give one more plug for this because not everybody was on at the very beginning, as many people as we have now. But I took this course from Craig in person years ago, and it totally, when the first time he wrote it with the, I'll call it the older content, and it totally changed the trajectory. Just one script he gave us that day quite literally turned into 28 more closings the following year. And it was from one thing that he shared over the course of about 15 minutes. And so, guys, I can't stress this enough. If you want to go deep on this, get in this course. Craig and Andrea have this stuff dialed in like you wouldn't believe. All right, on to the questions. We're basically a little over time. You got a few minutes for us, guys?
Yeah, we're great.
All right, let's do it. So first of all, something I want to share, Craig, is I love that you admitted that you don't necessarily love lead generation. What happens, most of our peers, our friends, they get on stage, they do a webinar, and they act like they absolutely love doing this thing. And the reality is it's not fun to get up and lead generate most days, if ever, especially when you're knocking on doors and doing cold calls, et cetera. So first of all, just hats off to you. All right, a couple of questions we have. Jim asked an amazing question. He said, so time blocking is obviously the way you set your stage for activity, but there's only 24 hours in a day, even if you're working 17 of them. His question is, how do you prioritize the activity required to meet your goal and still do all the, quote, other things that keep your business sustainable year round?
Two answers. Number one, and what was his name, Kevin?
Jim Trouts.
Jim, let it burn. right? And that's a crappy answer. Let it burn. I got fired 7 times in my first 90-day challenge, 7 times. 15 years in the business, Kevin, I'd never been fired once. Never been fired once. I mean, there was like, just in short, never fired once. 7 times in 90 days. Come to my house, get your crap out of my yard, never come back. And what happens is I had these systems set up for a dude that took a listing a week. And when I started taking a listing a day, I didn't have the systems in place. Every pore in my body wanted Jim to say, well, screw that, stop taking a listing a day. But I understood this was the only way to break through my ceilings of achievement. It was horrible. But at the end of the day, when your business explodes to a new level because you do your lead generation, you find the holes in your customer service. And then step 2 is hire people to plug them. Right. So I was interviewing people at 9 o'clock at night. It was weird. Like, come to my house. And like, people were like, I don't want to come to your house. That's weird. It's like, look, I'm pulling 17 hours a day like Jim. It's the only time my wife will be home. I'm safe. If you don't want to come, I don't care. But we're so busy. That's when I can meet you. And then if I hired him, I'd say, you're my chaos manager, Kevin. I just got fired for this. Your first job is to make sure that never happens again by putting a system in place. And your second job is document that system and make sure that never happens again, period. And so a little bit, there's a book, and in the book, there's 2 reasons, the one thing book, why people are not successful. And one of them is fear of chaos. The other is inability to say no. There's a few others, but those are the 2 I like. What I'm hearing, Jim, is that's fear of chaos. And chaos is going to come when you explode through massive goals. It's okay to let it burn for a short period of time. You'll make so much money. You can hire talented people to plug those holes, and your customer service and your systems go way up.
Yeah, man, I think you nailed it. I always say, like, it's just let it get messy, because you're never going to have it all perfect anyways. And doing so just honestly prevents you from making more money at the end of the day. So great answer there. All right. So next question real quick was, okay, so door knocking script obviously works when you've already had multiple listings or multiple buyers on your listings, but what if you have no listings to offer? I actually think you covered this, but I want to ask you that again. So let's say you don't have any listings, but you're in a hot neighborhood. You gave the example of going to Andrea. Is that the script? Is it literally just the same script, except now you're saying it's my buyer instead of my seller?
Yeah, so if you have a buyer that lost out on property, bring your buyer's losing offer. But I do get that question a lot on this segment of the course, Kevin. And what I'd say, if you don't have any listings, then go back to calling the repos and go back to the other strategies that we've given or expires or we'll give in the upcoming course. We have dozens of strategies on how to find listings. So I would say go and focus on getting one listing in the right neighborhood. And when you get that one listing, if it's the right neighborhood, you're going to get multiple offers. And then when you get the multiple offers, take the losing offers and go door knocking with offers. So I'd say, hey, that's okay, right? You're probably just one step behind. Let's help you get some listings first. When you get enough listings, you get multiple offers. Now you can door knock with the losing offers. So just don't put the cart before the horse. Go and call your sphere. Go and build your database. Call expires. Call rent bows.
Plenty of other ways.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. All right, guys. So this is kind of general because a bunch of people asked it. We're obviously going to give everybody who is here today a copy of this webinar so they can go back and re-review it. There's a few people who have asked about slide decks and specific scripts. I'm assuming those are something that you give out during the course, but if there's anything else that we can hand out via email to those that ask, just send them over to me, Craig or Andrea, and I'll get those out with that. But I know some of this is part of the course. So anything that to be shared, like scripts or Pink Sheet, got a lot of traction there in the comment box, guys. And that's huge. There's no doubt that is a super important thing to have before you go on a listing appointment. So
I go and teach, Kevin, and I know you do as well. I'll get me in a room of 100, 200 people where we can interact, and I'll ask, like, how many people in this room pre-qualify in some capacity every listing appointment before they go on it? And it's normally less than 10% of the hands go up. And what's crazy to me is, and I normally know just because the rooms I know the people, is that 10% is the top agents in that city. Top agents do the work before they get there. They do. Or do you want to go on an appointment and just learn all about them in the living room? No, because then you got to think about the answers. I want to know up front, so I go in incredibly prepared. So to answer your question, yeah, like the scripts on the slide, the Pink Sheet, and then we probably have 30 or 40 different scripts or more we give out in the course. Why don't we pick 10 of our favorite? We'll send them to you by the end of the day, Kevin, to give to your audience at Next Level Agents for free.
That is awesome, man. I thank you guys so much. Guys, this has been extremely valuable. Last question. The website says $199 for the 90 listings, but when I check out, It's double the price. That's because it's per month. If you notice there, that's per month because this is a 2-month course, right? 8 weeks. This isn't just a 1 month thing.
So
Absolutely.
Is $398 minus $50 with an NLA coupon.
Yep. Actually, make sure you guys use that NLA 50 coupon code. This is who Craig is, man. I literally did not ask him to offer you guys a discount. I just wanted him to come on and share some of his stuff because it's made such an impact in our business. And so he did that, him and Andrea, out of the goodness of their hearts. So that is awesome. Thank you guys so much. Craig, Andrea, any parting shots, any last comments to share before we get going today?
Just guys, you've got 6 months left of your year. Your activities will carry through this year, and what you do, what you focus on, and the commitment you have specifically to your listing business is going to dictate not just this year, but absolutely the first half of next year as well. So this is just an incredible time. And for most of you, you're in summer months, so you have seasonality on your side in most markets. It's an incredible time to buckle down, focus on your listing business, focus on your habits, and have a big life with big balance and big consistency.
Yeah, I agree. Totally great time of year to take advantage of a challenge or something like this in order to just propel you through the rest of the year and then into 2020.
All right. I know we went over. Thank you so much, Kevin. Enjoy San Diego, buddy.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll talk soon. Next Level Agents, have a great rest of your Friday and go out and kick ass the second half of this year.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.